The galaxy was silent, but not peaceful. Vast stars burned in the dark, casting cold light over countless worlds. Civilizations rose and fell like waves. Empires stretched across systems, ruling with power and fear. Among them, the Arendari thrived. They were proud, strong, and feared. Their ships glided through space like living beasts. Their weapons could tear planets apart. Their rule seemed unshakable. Arendar Prime, their capital, was a shining jewel. Towers reached the clouds, and fields glimmered with energy crystals. Millions of Arendari lived there, believing nothing could harm them. They had faced wars, rebellions, and cosmic storms. They had survived everything. Or so they thought. It began with a shadow at the edge of their system. Scouts reported a strange disturbance. Signals in the dark, moving fast. Nothing like it had been seen before. It was small, weak, almost invisible. The Arendari laughed. No threat could come from such a thing, they said. The word, human, was mentioned, but no one cared. Humans were primitive, fragile, insignificant. Then the sky burned. A single star exploded near Arendar Prime. The shockwave tore through the outer colonies. Cities crumbled. Ships were shredded before they could flee. Thousands died instantly. The Arendari were stunned. Their pride shattered. They had never felt fear like this. Panic spread like fire. Leaders argued. Generals blamed each other. Nothing worked. Nothing could stop the destruction. As the smoke rose, spies reported a fleet appearing from nowhere. Small, slow, fragile ships. They did not look dangerous, but they moved with purpose, precision, and determination. The Arendari could not understand it. They had never seen such coordination. The fleet seemed almost alive. The alien commanders watched, hearts heavy. Their weapons had no effect. Missiles burned out before hitting. Shields bent, but did not break. Fear grew. Arendar Prime burned. The oceans boiled. The towers fell. Fires spread to every corner. Millions screamed. Pain filled the air. The Arendari had always thought they were untouchable. Now they understood how fragile they truly were. Their world, their pride, their power, all slipping away in hours. And yet, among the chaos, a strange thought crept into the minds of some. Maybe survival was possible, but not like they imagined. The humans, small and weak, were still moving forward. They did not hesitate. They did not pause. They were unknown, barely noticed, but something in their actions made the Arendari uneasy. Signals from the fleet were strange. They did not match any known language or tactic. It was confusing, frightening. The Arendari commanders called it impossible. Their best minds tried to understand. Nothing worked. The humans did not fight like any known enemy. They seemed fearless, even when their ships were small and fragile. They pressed forward while the galaxy shook around them. The survivors on Arendar Prime fled to the core bunkers. They watched their world die in silence. Friends, family, mentors, and heroes gone in hours. The stars themselves seemed to mock them. They waited for the humans to arrive, not knowing what to expect. Rumors whispered that the humans might just be scouts, weak and insignificant as they had thought. But the fear in their hearts said otherwise. And then came the final report. The humans had reached the edge of the capital's orbit. Not attacking yet, only observing, only moving. Their presence alone made the Arendari shiver. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Their pride, their history, their strength, all meaningless before this tiny, strange force. Some wondered if this was the end. Others wondered if something new was beginning. But no one knew the truth. Not yet. The humans were coming. And what they would do next was unknown, terrifying, and unstoppable. The galaxy watched. Arendari forces were broken, scattered across the stars. Their fleets crippled, their worlds aflame. And still, the humans pressed forward. No one understood them. Their ships were small, uneven, almost fragile. Their weapons were basic. Nothing compared to the Arendari war engines. Yet they moved with a purpose no machine could mimic. It was not speed. It was not power. It was something deeper. The humans adapted. Where an asteroid field blocked a path, they turned it into cover. Where debris tore through the fleet, they used it as a weapon. The first strike hit. Explosions tore through human ships. Fires flared. Hulls cracked. Crews screamed and died. But still, they pressed forward. Every loss seemed to fuel their determination rather than weaken it. Pain was not a weakness, it was a weapon. Every destroyed ship taught them something new. Every mistake became a lesson. The humans moved differently than any enemy the Arendari had ever faced. They did not fight like machines. They did not follow predictable patterns. They adapted in real time. They used debris, asteroids, and even the remains of their own ships as shields and weapons. Every attack they faced became a chance to strike back. The Arendari laughed at first. They are nothing. Fragile, foolish, insignificant, they said. But soon, laughter turned into whispers. Confusion. Fear. The humans were surviving strikes that should have ended them. They were advancing where no one else could. One human ship crashed into a massive alien cruiser, not to die, but to jam its systems and redirect its weapons fire. Another crew used the wreckage of their own destroyed vessel as cover to launch a counterattack. Every move was daring, reckless, impossible, and effective. The humans suffered. Losses were heavy. Ships were torn apart. Families, friends, comrades, all gone in moments. Yet their eyes, their minds, their hearts remained focused. They refused to surrender. Every death, every wound, every scar hardened them. The Arendari began to understand that these humans were different, not because of weapons, not because of strength, but because they would never give up. Across the battlefield, alien commanders panicked. Their rules, their tactics, their centuries of experience were useless. The humans did not play by the laws of galactic war. They broke every expectation, shattered every prediction. Chaos followed them, but it was controlled chaos. Every action had a purpose. Every failure was temporary. The humans reached the heart of the conflict, a vital Arendari command station orbiting a dying planet. The aliens had expected them to flee, to surrender, to crumble. But the humans moved forward with stubborn precision. The station's defenses fired endlessly, tearing through the empty void around them. Still, the humans adapted, dodged, and pressed on. Reports poured in from every corner of the fleet. The humans were alive, advancing, unpredictable, and relentless. For the first time in history, the Arendari felt what humans had been whispering about among themselves for centuries: fear. And then, something unexpected happened. One human ship, small and battered, pierced the outer defenses of the station. The signals it sent back were unlike anything the Arendari had ever seen. It was a warning, a puzzle, and a challenge all at once. The aliens could not understand it. Their greatest minds failed to predict the next move. The humans were still unknown. Small, fragile, unproven, but they were coming. And the galaxy was beginning to realize that these insignificant creatures might be the deadliest force it had ever seen. The Arendari waited, hearts pounding, as the humans closed in. The silence before the storm was deafening. And then, the first human strike hit. The Arendari watched in disbelief. Their massive fleets, the pride of centuries, could not predict the humans' next move. The humans were small, slow, and fragile, or so the aliens believed. They laughed openly, mocking the tiny ships darting through the debris and flames. "They are nothing," said the commanders. "Fragile, weak, insignificant. They cannot last an hour against our power." The humans moved steadily forward, ignoring the mockery. Each strike they took, each ship destroyed, only sharpened their focus. Every loss seemed to teach them something the Arendari could not see. Pain was their fuel, suffering their guide. They never stopped. They never hesitated. The Arendari tried every tactic they knew. Barrages of missiles, swarms of fighters, massive warships. Nothing worked. Every attack the aliens expected to crush humanity failed. Every prediction fell apart. The humans adapted without hesitation. They turned alien traps against their attackers. They used asteroid fields as cover. They improvised with debris and wreckage. They attacked in ways no algorithm could predict. The Arendari were forced to admit, humans were not just resilient. They were cunning, clever, and terrifyingly stubborn. And yet, the aliens still underestimated them. They did not see the human strength hidden behind the small, fragile ships. They could not imagine that these creatures, so weak and untested, would ever survive a full-scale battle. They laughed, even as their ships fell around them. Pride blinded them. On one ruined world, a human crew repaired their battered ship while under constant fire. Every tool was improvised. Every move was precise. Every strike they launched was deliberate, targeting weak points the Arendari never thought possible. To an alien, it looked desperate, chaotic and doomed, but it worked. The humans pressed on, silent and unassuming. They never boasted. They never panicked. Even when a ship was lost or a friend killed, they carried on. They did not fear death, nor did they question the odds. Their focus was on survival, on moving forward, on victory. The Arendari began to whisper in fear. "They are small," said one commander, "but they do not fear us. They do not stop. They do not give up." What are they? The humans' persistence unsettled them. Every strike, every repair, every small victory forced the Arendari to rethink their assumptions. The rules of galactic war, the rules that had never failed, were meaningless against humans. And then, at the edge of a shattered star system, the humans revealed a hint of their audacity. A single, battered ship moved directly toward the largest alien warship in the fleet. It was slow, almost foolish, and entirely exposed. The Arendari laughed, certain of an easy kill. But the humans did not attack in the way anyone expected. Their actions were deliberate, unpredictable, and terrifying. The aliens could not anticipate what would happen next. A silence fell over the battlefield. Millions of Arendari eyes watched as the humans pressed forward, small, fragile, but unyielding. Their stubbornness was unbreakable. Their courage, limitless. And their journey had only just begun. The galaxy had begun to notice. The humans, weak and unknown, were no longer invisible. Something was coming. Something that would change everything. And in the darkness beyond the stars, a single thought spread among the alien commanders. Maybe the humans were not so weak after all. But no one knew how dangerous they truly were. The humans were still moving forward. And the next move would shock the galaxy. The Arendari fleets loomed like dark mountains across the stars, endless and unstoppable. Their weapons glowed with deadly light. Their engines roared across the void. The galaxy expected the humans to break. But the humans did not break. Battered ships, half-destroyed hulls, shattered crews, they pressed forward. Every loss fueled their determination. Every pain became a lesson. The humans did not retreat. They did not panic. They adapted in real time, moving where no algorithm or strategy could predict. The first shock hit the alien command. A human squadron disappeared into an asteroid belt. The Arendari assumed they had been destroyed. But then, the squadron emerged behind the main alien fleet, striking critical engines and weapon systems with precision that defied belief. Chaos spread through the Arendari lines. The humans were relentless. One ship, small and battered, rammed a massive alien warship, not to die, but to disable its shield generators. Another crew hijacked abandoned debris and launched it as improvised missiles, collapsing a formation of Arendari cruisers. Every action was daring, unpredictable, and horrifyingly effective. The Arendari had never faced an enemy like this. Their greatest minds, their most advanced tactics, failed against humans. Every rule they followed, every expectation they had, was broken. And still, the humans pressed on. Pain, loss, and desperation were their weapons. Fear did not stop them. Death did not frighten them. Each setback became a tool. Each wound sharpened their instincts. The galaxy had never seen a force like this. Small, fragile, human, but unstoppable. The battle reached the heart of the alien fleet, the command station orbiting a dying planet. Millions of lives depended on its survival. The humans moved forward, weaving through devastation and fire. Alien generals predicted their destruction. Yet the humans adapted, using every piece of wreckage, every asteroid, every moment of chaos to their advantage. Then, in a single, daring strike, humans disabled the station's main defenses. The aliens gasped. The impossible had happened. The humans, fragile and unknown, had turned the tide. Chaos spread across the fleet. Systems failed. Ships collided. The Arendari could only watch in shock as their empire began to falter. The humans did not celebrate. They did not slow down. They pressed their advantage with unwavering focus, moving like a storm no one could control. Every ship, every mind, every human heart was united in a single, unstoppable force. And yet, even now, the Arendari did not understand the full extent of their enemy. They had seen courage, cleverness, and stubbornness, but they had not seen all of humanity's power. Not yet. The humans' victory was only beginning, but the message was clear across the galaxy. Never underestimate them. They suffered, they adapted, and they refused to surrender. That stubbornness, that refusal to yield, made them unstoppable. The Arendari fleets were shattered. The command station smoldered. And above the chaos, the humans moved forward, alive, relentless, and unbroken. Somewhere in the void, alien eyes widened in terror. They had always thought themselves supreme. They had never expected the humans. And the humans were only starting. The galaxy would never forget this day. But beyond the stars, even greater dangers were waiting. And the humans' true test was yet to come. The battlefield was silent. Smoke and fire drifted across the void, a reminder of the chaos that had unfolded. The Arendari fleets, once proud and untouchable, lay broken and scattered. Warships drifted like wrecks in the stars, their commanders in shock. Humans, battered and scarred, moved among the ruins. Their ships were damaged, their crews weary, yet no one stopped. No one surrendered. Every strike, every risk, every loss had shaped them. They had endured the impossible and lived to press on. Across the galaxy, whispers began. Humans, they cannot be stopped. They survive where nothing else can. They adapt, they endure, they never give up. Even the most powerful alien civilizations, who had ruled the stars for millennia, began to rethink everything they knew about war, strategy, and strength. The humans did not boast. They did not celebrate. They had survived, yes, but they had also learned. Every scar on a ship, every loss of a friend, every danger faced had forged them into something greater. Their minds were sharper, their will stronger, and their courage unbreakable. In the Arendari command halls, fear replaced pride. The aliens who had laughed, mocked, and dismissed humanity now trembled. They had underestimated the humans. They had assumed weakness meant defeat. But they had been wrong. Humans were not weak. Humans were relentless. Humans were unstoppable. The galaxy had learned a new rule. Never underestimate the small, the fragile, the unknown. Humans were not merely survivors. They were a force the stars themselves would remember. Planets whispered of their courage. Systems told stories of their stubbornness. Aliens learned to respect, and in some cases, fear, them. And yet, for the humans, the victory was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast. Threats waited in the darkness. Stronger enemies, deadlier challenges, mysteries beyond imagination, they all loomed on the horizon. Humans had survived the first trial, but countless others would follow. Somewhere beyond the stars, distant eyes watched. New fleets gathered. Unknown powers waited, curious and cautious. They had heard the tales, sensed the shifts, and wondered, could humans be the ultimate predators of the galaxy? Could a species so small, so underestimated, really dominate the universe? The humans did not stop. They repaired, rebuilt, and moved forward, carrying their scars as proof of their journey. Their resolve was clear, unshakable, and eternal. They had survived the impossible. They had adapted where others would have perished. They had refused to surrender, and that alone made them unstoppable. The galaxy held its breath. Empires would rise. Wars would flare. Death and chaos would return. But now, a new truth shone through the darkness. Humans never surrender. And any who faced them would soon learn that lesson, the hard way. In the silent void between the stars, a single thought echoed across civilizations. Humans were coming, and the universe would never be the same.